Dr. Guleria, you answered this question. Will we have to take vaccines every year? I think you suggested you may have to. Am I correct? That's paraphrasing what you said, because that's a question asked. But linked to that, someone is asking, is the second jab necessary? After the first jab, is it absolutely necessary for me to take the second dose, Dr. Guleria?
Yes, it is, because when we start looking at the vaccine, the first jab is what we call the prime jab, which is the primer. And the second jab is the booster one. So unless you get your booster, your antibody response is not going to be that high, and it will tend to wane very quickly. So you have for the first injection or the vaccine is actually to prime your system, prime your immune response. And then when you take the second jab, it really gives a boost, and your neutralizing antibodies, your T cells and your memory cell get stimulated enough so that it's long-lasting and more sustainable.
So linked to that, Dr. Guleria, my friend Mr. Ganpati is asking, the popular recommended gap between two shots is 8 weeks. Will I miss mine if I duck the prescribed 28 days? Do I have to take it in 28 days, or can I sort of spread it over, say, 8 weeks? Is that the maximum?
So the minimum is actually 28 days. It can be done up to 6 weeks, and if it is for some reason that you can't come, let's say on the 28th or 29th or 30th day, you could even take it later. But it's important that you take it. The current approval in our country is up to 6 weeks. There is some data that for some vaccines you may even delay it up to 8 to 12 weeks. But we need more data from the vaccines being used in India and globally to be able to say that this is something that we need to do as a policy decision.
But it is remarkable the number of people. It is remarkable the number of concerns people have. Someone says my one kidney has been removed. Am I safe for this vaccine, Dr. Thacker?
Absolutely. In fact, because you have a single kidney, you have a comorbidity, you must take the vaccine.
And I'm also being asked by Diana Edulji, the cricketer, should thalassemia patients take the vaccine, doctor?
Absolutely. With the cricket bat in your hand, you can go and score that century which you have done. Take the vaccine.
One final question, Dr. Guleria and Dr. Thacker. You first, Dr. Guleria. It's an interesting question. Is the consumption of alcohol allowed after the jab, or should I be a little careful between the two jabs?
So this is something that a lot of people ask. Alcohol per se should be avoided, but if you want to have a drink or two after having the jab, after 2 or 3 days after the jab, it's not an absolute contraindication, but one should be careful, and I don't think you should really overdo it.
Okay, final word to you, Dr. Thacker. Also, do you believe, therefore, that all these apprehensions, there are a lot of concerns. People should they just go out and take the vaccine, end the vaccine hesitancy, and as Dr. Guleria put it, let the eagerness be matched by patience, you'll get your turn.
I think, Rajdeep, your show today has put the vaccine hangama to rest. This is a routine vaccine which everybody has been used to, like other vaccines in the past. There's nothing extra special about this, just that the halo of COVID has blown it out of proportion. As your turn comes, as your app clicks, please go there. Don't stand in lines. Okay. Whether you get it today or you get it after 10 days, go and take the shot. And don't think that the mountain will come back to Muhammad as far as you're getting the vaccine at home. Right. You have to go and get it. I only meant it semantically in English without any other reference, that go out and take your vaccine when your turn comes.
You know, I just have to ask this at the end. A friend of mine, again, a colleague asking, either of you can take this. So my grandfather is 97 years old and a heart patient. Is it safer for him to go to the hospital for a vaccine or keep him at home unvaccinated? Dr. Guleria, should he stay at home or get vaccinated, even if you're 97?
No, he should go and get himself vaccinated. He is in the high risk group, and he has if he gets COVID, he has a high chance of getting severe infection. And now with our cases less, and it's not that you're going to a COVID ward to get your vaccination. The vaccination sites are quite separate from the COVID area, and therefore he should go and get himself vaccinated. It's very, very important.
I think net, both of you are saying that this is a moment for Indians to end their vaccine hesitancy. We are a country which is remarkable in our production of vaccine. Hopefully supply will exceed demand, and thereby this initial Rajnikant phase or the box office phase where people are rushing will be matched by a gradual process of extending it to all. Dr. Guleria, Dr. Thacker, you have been wonderful as ever in answering all the questions of our viewers. I really appreciate you're joining us. Thank you both very much. We'll come back to you maybe after a few weeks as the concerns continue. Thank you so much for joining us on this special.